Hello, everyone. My name is Duchana, and along with my group members, Ciarria and Sara, we will be presenting a career development program that we created for a select group of minority undergraduate college students. The elements of our career program that will be discussed within this presentation include our target population, needs of the target population, objectives for our multicultural career development program, the delivery of career planning services, content of the program, the cost, a plan to promote and explain our services to the general public, an evaluation tool for the program, and limitations and areas for improvement. So to define the target population that we have, this includes a select ethnic group that are currently undergraduate students in the US. This is going to be an online program that will be accessible to students across the country. The program is specifically designed for African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, Middle Eastern, and Arab American students. So the statistics of undergraduate students within these cultural groups include 2.1 million African American students, 3.4 million Hispanic American students, and 1.1 million Asian American students. There's actually an inconclusive number of Middle Eastern and Arab American students. This last point is really important as there is currently no way to capture the number of Middle Eastern and Arab American students as the US Census and most college forms lack a category for Arab on forms. Arabs are often categorized as white Americans on these forms. In an article entitled Addressing the Invisibility of Arab American Issues in Higher Education, Susan Nasser speaks to the institutional responsibility to include Arab American students on admission forms. Many colleges may not actually be prepared to support students from this ethnic background, let alone have a career program that's specifically designed to meet their needs. This is a group that is often overlooked and underrepresented. And I honestly appreciate our group mate, Sara, who made a point to have this group included in our career program. So the needs of our target populations include aid in overcoming barriers and obstacles such as racism, discrimination, prejudice, and social economic status in academia and the work field, contextual considerations integrated in career planning such as cultural experiences, religious beliefs, the student's family system, and the level of enculturation and acculturation. Also, just needs of college students include acceptance of career changes throughout their whole entire life, an awareness of personal interests, skills, abilities, values, and strengths, an ability to make planful career decisions, and development of their work identity. Some students may know what they want to do, and others have a harder time figuring that out. Many students have issues with reconciling their multiple identities. And work identity focuses on the unique traits and characteristics within the occupational context and can be viewed from an individualistic or collectivistic point of view. And most of the students that are integrated into our program would be coming from a collectivistic worldview. So next we have some considerations for racism, discrimination, prejudice, and social economic status that is, real barriers for the students that we are trying to help and accommodate. I mentioned a few moments ago that many of the students in our career program may need help with navigating obstacles that can hinder their career development and their planning. College students of color have unique challenges as they're in a transitional stage, and on top of that are exposed to racially polarized societies and endure negative stereotypes. Racial discrimination has a significant impact on career planning and has implications long before a person applies for an occupation. Racial and ethnic and social economic barriers tend to hinder career development. Career barriers are significantly higher for those from poor backgrounds, people of color, women, and other oppressed identities. Next, I wanted to give you some examples of what college students within our target population may go through. An African-American student, for example, may face cyberbullying and racial slurs directed at them on social media and may not know how to effectively respond or handle that kind of issue. And according to Prim, this can impact their schoolwork and lead them to be distraught, hopeless, and depressed. An undocumented Hispanic student may experience doors to economic, educational, and physical wellness to be shut. These kinds of challenges can feel insurmountable to some students. Asian American students may feel the pressure of being a model minority. According to Hayes and Erford, a model minority is an elevated status given to Asian Americans despite the barriers presented by racism. It's marked by high academic achievement, high family incomes, low mental health utilization rates, and low delinquency rates. This positive stereotype minimizes individual effort and achievement and may lead to institutional neglect, educational, and health disparities. And lastly, among the Middle Eastern and Arab American population, they may face ethnic discrimination that leads to poor mental health outcomes and have experienced a lot of hurt due to the visible markers of possibly being from an Islamic background. This increased prejudice in the US has since occurred since the events of 9/11 and has made it specifically challenging for this group. These are just a few examples of racial and cultural barriers that undergraduate students may face, just to give you a picture of the needs that are there. And as far as measurable objectives for our program, by the end of the first undergraduate year, students will be able to list any racially based barriers or obstacles in their career development, determine whether individual counseling is needed to address any internalized racism, discrimination, or prejudice, describe 3 to 5 contextual factors that ought to be considered in their individualized career planning, state at least 2 areas of high interest, and at least 3 potential occupations within each area of interest. They also will be selecting a major that is related to their occupational interests, be able to write a high quality resume, and exhibit knowledge and skills in the job interviewing process. Next, Sarah will be sharing about ways to deliver career planning services, content, and more.
I will be talking about ways to deliver career planning services, and we have concluded that it's missing that we have specific classes in colleges for career planning, and this might be a good idea to specify classes for that, as well as offering workshops, annual workshops to give information to students, as well as make groups and discussions about their interests and the results of their assessments. We have thought of creating a virtual career center, and we found that a web-based career center for career planning is the most effective nowadays, and this would help us reach out to all the multicultural college students all around the country and not in a very specific areas. Counselors could be easily reached and could still provide from all over the states, could still provide the same services on the one web-based career center. Self-help material can also be provided by providing assessment, inventories, and workbooks. All can be also presented online. As for the content, we have listed the objectives that we needed and targeting each objective and how we're gonna meet this objective. So providing a workshop that's specified on perceived barriers and obstacles in career planning for each racial and ethnic group could be helpful to with the college student to help them identify the barriers in their own culture, in their own environment that are hindering their career development. Another area of focus would be creating groups of just 8 to 12 students to discuss the impact of racism, discrimination, prejudice, and self-efficacy and career development. We could confine them to 6 sessions per semester, which is not a lot, but having 8 to 12 students would make it concise and people would be able to share. Groups are meant for discussion, and this would help us identify if there is a need for individual counseling within these students. So we can address the internalized racism and discrimination. We could also provide one-on-one career counseling to determine personal influencing factors. Within the group or the workshop, people could still very hesitant to share about their internalized racism or the family structure that could be hindering them from choosing or taking their own career choices. So one-on-one career counseling would be very helpful to determine the personal factors that play a role in their career development. Of course, the career interest assessment is one of the main things we are targeting to provide. So we are targeting to provide access for that online and to have a group workshop to interpret the results and then explain the Holland typology, the world of map, all the ACT, help them create an ACT profile, or the career one-stop and ONET would help them see the labor market and determine their occupation options. So all of these assessments would be provided online, and then a workshop for interpretation, further interpretation, could be also included. And then resources specified to help students determine their majors or choosing their majors, which is, it could be physical books like the Book of Majors that could be suggested. And there are also websites such as gradschools.com, petersons.com, and they are also helpful to choosing majors. And in order to help students with their resume writing, many of them, they have no idea about writing resumes, cover letters, and this is also available through videos and workshops on the website for the program. It has activities like how to structure, how to build a resume, and what does it mean to have a statement of objective, and how to present your skills. All these could be included in a workshop and on videos. And then, again, the educative videos would help for job interviewing skills, like you can have one-on-one role modeling, so you can be prepared for interviewing. And many of the videos provided would give tips on how to handle an interview and what are the skills needed. All those videos can be accessed online as well. Now the cost, we've turned to figure out what the cost of the program would be. And there are three main areas that we have thought of, mainly the staff, materials needed, and the facilities. Okay, speaking of staff, this is the main area of cost. We will be needing staff for designing the website, for developing the website and the material, as well as delivering the workshop and delivering the one-on-one sessions and interviews and leading the groups. So for example, we try to take it down to, if we start by targeting just 100 students, and we would hire 10 counselors for that and 1 web developer, just as a start. So each counselor would handle 10 students. Each counselor, according to the ONET, the career counselor's average wage is $30 per hour. And if they work 10 hours per week, like an hour for each student, along the 8 months of the school year, that would make a total of $9,600 per counselor for the whole program period. And then we will need probably 1 web developer as a start. And again, according to ONET, the web developer usually needs $40 an hour. So this gives us a total of 100,000 just as a start. For the materials, we figured out that this is the world of the internet. Everything is easily accessed, so we will not be requiring any cost for that, except maybe some membership for accessing some inventories. And again, this is minor, but could be added. We will not be needing any facilities because everything is going to be online, and this is the best way to reach the whole students in the whole country. And now Ciarria is going to talk to us about promotion, how to promote for our program. Thank you.
Hi. So today I'll be talking about the promotion for our program. The first method of promotion will be for us to advertise our services on the university's website and or newspapers. Newspapers can be online and digital as well as bulletin boards that are in the student union. So in advertising on the university's webpage and newspapers and bulletin boards, obviously, it was stated before that we will have a web-based program. So we need to make sure that our website is up and running in order to advertise, our links and other methodology, for the students to get to our website. But advertising through the university's media sources will bolster our visibility to our target audience. Secondly, we will initiate a pilot testing with respected and visible freshmen of the university and our faculty members. Creating those piloted testing will help to expand and redefine and refine ideas and procedures. So not only will we question the freshmen that are taking the program, we'll also talk about our program to the facility managers and the faculty, just to get their ideas so that we can further redefine and revamp our program if need be. Lastly, we will request participants to provide publicity. So along with working with the respective freshmen and the faculty and the students and advertising on the students' websites, the university's websites, we will definitely request and ask if they'll promote our program on their social media platforms. Word of mouth is very effective, because we're having real voices talk about the effectiveness of our program. And in today's world, technology is king. So this is also known as networking. Networking promotes our program to authenticated consumers and users, broadening the program's reach. Next, we'll talk about how we're going to evaluate our program. So the first method is conduct in-person feedback. In-person can be over Zoom because our program is web-based, but we'll do an early questionnaire / feedback when the person, the clientele is in the actual program. This will help to enhance the program by understanding the issues in the and the immediate delivery of the programs and methods. This will make the program better in its application by determining predetermined experiences, outcomes of the program. Requesting feedback from the staffers, the people that are involved behind the scenes in our program, can add creative ideas in order to revise the program and prepare for its next delivery. The second methodology is to conduct follow-up studies. So sending senior classmen or graduates, questionnaires through email. If email is unsuccessful, even though we're web-based, a phone will suffice. And that is designed to discover if the individual has found a job and are on the correct path for completing a defined major. And lastly, we'll evaluate issues and then we'll revise. Analyzing the data collection that we receive from the questionnaires and the phone conversations, if need be, is imperative to the evaluation process. It will help the staffers recognize valid discrepancies in the program that need revamping. And we will continuously evaluate our program to ensure that the program remains successful. Limitations. Any kind of business that you go into will have limitations. For our program specifically, since we're having a multicultural population as our target, some of these targeted multicultural students, consumers, they may not be at these designated locations. So some universities may lack a wide range of diversity, and this may hinder the program. However, having a social media application for the site can offset any lack in customers due to its global reach. Secondly, excessive absences and failed follow-ups. So crisis situations such as violence, drugs, and excessive absences and overall participants' lack of motivation could lead to failures of the program and implementation. The targeted group must be involved in the development of the program for its success and evaluation. Lastly, resources and quantifiable methods. It may be difficult to find resources for the programs require instruments in the form of outside experts, questionnaire building programs, hired exit, and other staff positions may exhaust, hinder resources for the program. Properly evaluating quantifiable methods in the program may be difficult. A counselor may find that the subjective and objective methods may not coincide with a strict curriculum, thus leading to a failure to evaluate. Evaluation of the programs drives consumer and business investment intrigue. Lastly, issues with servicing the vast amount of clientele may not be attainable within the targeted demographic. So lastly, our conclusion has come to this. Our research has concluded that establishing a career development program for multicultural university students can be quite challenging. Specifically, finding information for the Arab community and incorporating the needs of the population was exhaustive. Furthermore, we recognized and eliminated obstacles such as racism, discrimination, social economic issues in our program to bolster its effectiveness. Lastly, we are conscious that the lack of student comprehension involving their interests, skills, and values can further challenge the program, but we have accommodated for this and rectified it. Implementing these findings has ensured that our program fulfills the needs of the targeted consumer. And these are our references. Thank you.